Welcome to Vertical Football, and this is the Blue Box. Yeah, this is a show where we talk all things Chelsea. We want to tackle the managerial situation at Chelsea now, because when you get into situations like this, we're at a crossroad, and I think it's very important that we analyze every details on how we should sign a manager, how we should appoint a manager for this club. Because at this point in time, it's very easy for us to go all about and start looking for the most shiny thing and just, oh, this one is the most beautiful one. Oh, this one is the one that looks most promising. Oh, this one is the one that might work. And you just go around just trying to pick what we think would be the best for us. But I think we need to do some analysis about it. We need to look at, okay, what's this factor? Let's dot this I, let's cross these T's, and then look at all of these things before we go on to appoint any manager to this football club. Yeah, because we've gone through a lot in the last 4 seasons. Yeah, I think close to like 7 managers in total under the BlueCo era. We don't want to get into situations where that is our reality again. We should have we have learned a lot. We obviously have learned a lot. Let's now analyze, let's look at factors to consider for Chelsea to sign a new manager into this club. Yeah, and firstly, I would say anybody that we are bringing into this club as a manager has to be in alignment with what the identity of this club is. Yeah, and that this identity of a thing is something that we don't necessarily talk so much about. Yeah, because I don't know why people shy away from that thing, which and I find it very, I think it's lazy, and to some extent, I'll just call it lazy. I think it's something that we always need to pay attention to, because you look at the most successful clubs. You're talking about the Real Madrid, you're talking about the Barcelonas, you're talking about Ajax, you're looking at this level, Bayern Munich, you're looking at these levels of club, and you're looking at what's making this kind of club bring success into their footballing world. And you're looking, okay, there is a way that they see themselves. There is a way that they want to approach the game. There is a mindset towards everything that they want to do as a club. So every decision that they make has to be in alignment with who they are. And for example, you look at somebody like Barcelona, you're seeing that they have a style, they have a way they want to approach the game. Anybody that they are bringing into the club must be in alignment with that. That's the major reason why you will not see somebody like Jose Mourinho coach the club at like the highest level. I know he's a Barcelona product in the coaching aspect of a thing, but it's not the profile that Mourinho is not going to say you want to play tiki-taka kind of football. Barcelona will not accommodate any manager of that profile. That's why you look at their profile, you are seeing Enrique, you are seeing Guardiola, you are seeing Rijkaard, you are seeing Hansi Flick. These guys are of the same kind of profile. They want to have possession, they want to play the tiki-taka kind of football, they want to play to some extent positional play. That's the Barcelona way. So anybody that they are bringing in has to fit into that way. Now let's go into the Chelsea's perspective and let's ask ourselves that question. What is Chelsea's way? And when you look at, speaking about it in general terms, when you look at Chelsea under Roman Abramovich, I think that's one of the things that brought us success in this club, in the sense that when you go back as far as 20 years ago, from 2022, before the BlueCo took over this club, you would see that the idea behind this club is win. And win is a general term. How does Chelsea want to win under Roman Abramovich, or how did we go on to win under Roman Abramovich? The idea is basically sign the best players or top level players and then get a manager for them who will take charge of this team and then go on to get success. That's basically what brought us success in this club. And you go look at the player profile that we had at Chelsea. You had the Frank Lampard, John Obi Mikel, Terry, Ashley Cole, Drogba, the Asians, the Makalele coming into the new era. You had the Eden Hazard, the N'Golo Kante, Mata, Matic, Gary Kyle, David Luiz, Courtois, Peter Cech. Like these are the levels of player that Chelsea used to get. Top level players. And then you look at the managerial stack. You're looking at what do we have there? You have Mourinho, you have Ancelotti, Scolari, Antonio Conte, Gus Hiddink. You're looking at the Mauricio Sarri. You're looking at the level, the stature, and you're seeing this profile. Okay, I'm seeing similarity. You look at the manager that we call, these are managers, not maybe you can say somebody like Antonio Conte, you can say he's a coach, but at the same time, he also has the coach balance and the manager balance. So in that point in time, get top level manager, get top level manager, get top level players, assemble them together, and go on to win immediately. So that's the reality for Chelsea. But coming into this point now, what is our identity? And I think that's where we are struggling the most at this club. Yeah, because, and when I say struggle, I'll explain what I mean. If you look at the BlueCo, when they came into the club, they had an idea. They had a way that they want to identify with. Before we jump into the idea, let me speak about one of the mistakes that I think they made. I think one of the mistakes that they made was uprooting the identity of this club and wanting to instill their own immediately. Culture changes, yeah, because you go to a club like Liverpool and you see Jurgen Klopp defining what the club should look like. You come to Man City, you see Pep Guardiola defining what he wants the club to look like, and the board supports him and they go on to have like a good amount of success. So coming back to Chelsea, when this guy came in, they were of the opinion that we want to sign young players that can go on to become elite level players, and then we give them a couple of years, let them gel together, and then they go on to have success. Yeah, I think that's a plan. Beautiful. When somebody comes in with an idea like that, you say, oh, yeah, that's fine. Let's see. Because he has an idea, let's walk through it and see if it's going to work out. But one of the mistake that they actually made was, now you are looking at the stature of the club that you are coming to buy. Like we spoke about earlier, Chelsea is a club that wins instantly. So there is a mismatch already. If you are coming with the idea that you want to have a club where you give them a couple of years for them to gel, then they go on to have success. What about the initial culture of the club? Because culture is not something that is written down. Culture is ingrained in the mind of the environment of the club, the people in the environment of the club. So the people in the environment believe that this club, when they come into a season, they want to go and win the league, irrespective of what the situation is. When Chelsea is approaching this new season, what the first priority is, win the league. So you are coming with the idea that, oh, this season we are not going to win the league. We want to have 2-3 seasons with ourselves to gel so that we can go on to have long period of success. You are already antagonizing the culture. But the major problem was when they came in, I feel like they should have just tried to change that thing gradually. But they failed. They went on to like uproot the old culture and then try to instill new one into the club. And I think that's where the major problem is coming out from. Now they are saying like, it seems like this thing is not working. But the fans, because you are trying to change their identity, they are turning their back against you. Like, I told you this was never going to work. This is who we are. Why don't you stick with what we are, and let's just go on and make success together? So I think that's the major problem. And if we don't get what our identity truly is, anybody that we are signing, we are just signing them based on let's go and let's see what will happen. So if we don't get our identity truly, I think it will just be a matter of let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And as a club, you don't always want to be in let's see what happens. You want to define what you are. You want to set up all necessary material to help you to achieve what you think is good for your club. Yeah, so we need to define that. We need to know what the identity of this club is before we bring in any manager into this club. And I think they need to fix that. And like we said earlier, we are in a crossroad, and that crossroad, I believe that, because I don't like to pay attention to they said, he said, they say. Put action. You do what you have said you will do, unless they have actually done it. Now let's move on from there. Now the club, like Bali had come out to say, they are in a new space where they think they will go on heavily to get experienced guys into this club. So when you get experienced guys and still yet you are still keeping the young guys, that's a new way to approach it. Now you are balancing the whole thing. We want to win now, but still yet we want to be building our players. So that's like an identity already. That's like that's concrete in the air. So if you are looking for managers that fit that kind of profile, it's easy for you to go out there and look for managers. And if, for example, if you have that kind of a mindset, I want to win now, and also I want to build my team. If you get Guardiola, you did not get the wrong guy. And I'm not saying that's who Chelsea wants to go and get. I'm just giving you an example of when you have an identity, you know who you want to go and sign. So in that kind of instance, when you get Guardiola, you know that you have gotten the right man for the job. Somebody that wants to win now, but also prioritizes the progress of the players in the team. When you get Enrique, you know what you have gotten already. When you get Hansi Flick, you know what you have gotten already. So in that kind of case now, if you go and get somebody like Simeone, or you go to get somebody like Antonio Conte, you have made the wrong decision, because Antonio Conte's mind is not ready to build any player. He wants to go and win instantly. So you are going to be attending to one part of your vision, and then you neglect the other part. So I think that makes sense now. You set your identity right, then you go on to look for somebody that will help you achieve that thing that you have set. So that's the first part. We look from our identity, and then we used to bring the kind of manager that we need into the club. Now, secondly, let's look at the tactical identity of this club. And I think that's very, very important, because in recent time, I'm not a Manchester United fan, but I think I've been following Manchester United since they signed Amorim into the club. Until this moment, I think I'm still watching their games and even listening to news and hearing from the guys who are a fan of the club. One thing that I have seen is under Amorim, they were building something. It was obvious that they were building something, but the result was not showing. The result wasn't very obvious that they were trying to build something. But you can see in the way that they play that, this thing that these guys are doing, if you give it a little bit of time and put the right profile that the thing needs, this is going to become a blockbuster. This is going to become something very massive. But after Amorim's sack, now they gave Carrick the job as an interim. So you look at it like, okay, they say the club is going down the slope and they have brought somebody to steady the ship. Yeah, that's good and fine. But I think one of the mistakes now that they are making, and now I'm still going to relate it to the tactical identity. One of the mistakes that I think they are making now is, I'm hearing news around pundits, big guys in the club, everything saying give Carrick the job. I think it's a very big mistake to say give Carrick the job, because don't forget that Carrick just played maybe 11 or 12 matches. There was something that you were doing before you brought in this guy to come and steady the ship. Don't neglect this short-term success to throw away. Don't neglect what you are doing just because you have seen a short-term success from somebody that you brought in to putting a steadiness into the ship. So what am I trying to say there? Now, in the last 4 years, Chelsea has built something. Yeah, Chelsea has built something. As much as we can say, these guys are just sacking, bringing in, taking chunks of player, taking them in, bringing them out, doing all of these kind of things. But the point is, you can see that a tactical identity is beginning to form in this club. You look at from Potter, you look at Maresca, you look at Rosinho, you look at these three people. I think the only odd egg among them was Pochettino in the tactical identity. And why do I say that? You look at what we have, the constant between these three guys in the last 4 seasons. Firstly, these three people played a box midfielder. That's a midfield of 4. They played box midfield because when, what's his name? when Potter starts to play out from the back, he shifts into a three formation at the back, a three at the back, and then he plays a box four and three up front. But you know, Potter is very dynamic in the way he does his formation. I think he used around in that season, in that 6 months that he used at Chelsea, he used around 13 formations. Yeah, 13 formations at the club. So he's very dynamic. But one of the constants with him is that you are going to have a 4 midfielder, which that they come close, whether they be in a diamond or they be in a box. But you know that is a 4 in the midfield. When you go under Enzo Maresca, it's also the same thing. You see a box of 4, you see 2 pivots, you see not a number 10, and you see the left back or the right back invert to form a box 4. So that's also one of the things that you see also. And when you now come into Rosinho, a box 4 is also a constant. So you can see that when these guys are selecting the kind of manager that they want, there are something that is common between all of them. That's one of the tactical identity that we need to be looking forward to. Like when you are signing in a new manager, you need to make sure that those things are not changing. Those are one of the, because you are training your player in that particular line. You don't want to just throw those things away and then go and bring in somebody else that you will have to start from the scratch. And another thing is the possession based kind of football. Under the BlueCo era, one thing that you can proudly come out to say is the club is becoming a possession-based club. Yeah, we are becoming a possession-based club. You look at it from Potter, Pochettino is always the odd egg. From Potter to Maresca to Rosinho, they prioritize having the ball, wanting to be in charge of the game, wanting to have the ball so that they can impose themselves on the game and also have control of the game. And I think that's one of the constants in the game. And also the inverted role. Every one of these managers aside Pochettino also plays the inverted role. So you can see that there are tactical identity that has already been forming in this club over the years. So any manager that we are bringing into this club has to make sure that those things are things that they also play, so that we don't go and start from the scratch with all of our players. And there are things that you know, okay. And also to speak from another angle is when you are having something that is constant, like I spoke about the box midfield, the possession-based kind of football, and also the inverted role. There are things that when you do this kind of tactical part of the game consistently, there are things that start to function and wire in your brain, that your players start behaving in that pattern. And one of the things is spatial awareness. Spatial awareness is like when a player understands times and space. He knows where to go. He knows when to run into a space. He knows when to move out so that there can be passage for the other players. Like he's aware of the environment on the pitch. He's aware of what is going on everywhere. And those are one of the things that happen when you are playing in a box midfield. Because they are playing in a very tight space, they know that somebody is behind them. They can see that 2 people are trying to pounce on them. So they know when to shift to this side or when to go out of that zone or when to come into that zone. So their spatial awareness is increasing. So anybody that you are bringing in, you need to make sure that that person is coming to improve on what these guys already have, instead of throwing all those one away and then starting afresh. Yeah, and lastly, now anybody we are bringing into this club, we need to be very focused on their character. We know what we have as a team now. And why am I mentioning this character of a team? I think this club needs a coach that can command authority. That's one thing that we lost in Liam Rosinho, because when you look at the tactical side of the game, Enzo Maresca is tactically good and he has that aura. He commands authority from the boys, given the fact that when they sacked Mourinho, when Rosinho was in the club, all of the things that you're hearing here and there, you can see that, oh, these guys are not that happy that they took somebody who they have given their authority to. They took him away from the club. So it's hard for them to like surrender that authority to somebody that they believe is a guy of those people that took away their authority. So you can see that. So we need somebody who commands the respect of these boys. And that thing is very, very important, because you are looking at the kind of players that we have now. If in my own book, I would say to some extent, these boys set up that guy to leave the club. And this might be like something against the player, but I understand. You could see in the Brighton's match, Liam Rosenior's last match, that they did not want to play anymore. They were tired of it. You hear the what's that thing? The teacher kind of joke that they are calling Liam Rosenior. So they were tired of him already. But now, if you have an environment of players like that, you need a figurehead who will be able to control and curb that kind of a thing. So if you are bringing in a manager into the club, you need to be very, very cautious, or you need to pay more attention to that part of the personality of that manager. Can they control the boys? Is this a figure that when it says this is what I want you to do and want you to do, this is the reason why I want you to do it, go on to do it. There will not be questioning of somebody coming to the press to say something, or a player throwing his hand at the manager, or a manager removing a player and then he has to go and answer query to the player on why he has removed him. You get, sorry about that. I'm taking this so emotional, but you understand. So it's you need that character. You need somebody who can command authority from these boys, because they are beginning to grow wings. In all honesty, they are beginning to grow wings, and not in a bad way, because they need to develop their own self and take the leadership position. And another thing again is the manager that we are bringing into this club, or the coach or the head coach, needs to be tactically aware. You can't go 4 seasons. 3 out of these 4 seasons, you are building the tactical part of the team, and these boys are beginning to sink themselves into it. And then you go and bring somebody who does not really like the tactical part of the game. I don't think it's the best thing to do. Given the squad that we have, who is the manager that we need? We need somebody with a good character, a top level character that can command authority, and also is good with the tactical side of the game, who, he knows their baseline and can also help them improve on what they already have. So I think these 3 things they are very, very important things that we need to pay attention to in this club when we are planning to bring managers into the club. Firstly, the identity. Anybody we are bringing in has to fit into who we think we are. Secondly, the tactical identity. We have something in the baseline that we have seen as constant in the last 4 years. Anybody that we are bringing into this club has to make sure that they are building on that thing that we already have, because we don't want to be throwing away that thing and then starting all over from the beginning. That would be too expensive, because we will suffer for it before we get into the right space. And lastly, the character of the manager. Can this person command authority from the players? Is this a person who comes out here and lets you know that, yes, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is how we are going, this is how we are going? You need that figure, and also needs to be tactically aware, needs to be tactically sound. Somebody that sees what the level of the player is and see where they need to improve, helps them improve, and also help the team collectively to become better. And lastly, I would say our board needs to be patient. They need to give some level of freedom and control to the manager that they are bringing into the club. And I think that's very, very important. That part is very, very important. You don't bring in a manager into the club and then you are the one telling him the formation that they should play. There is a reason why you did your analysis and looked at every available option and say, this is the guy for us. So when you believe that this is a person that is for you and you give him the job, the basic thing and the most logical thing for you is to allow him do his job. So I think I'm begging the board at this point in time, don't interfere. They say, like the Taoist proverb will say, the danger of frying a small fish is too much poking. When you poke the small fish too much, you will destroy everything. So allow him do his things, allow him take control, allow him organize his boys in the way he wants to organize. There will be interference, because we know you are the owner of the club, you want things to go right. But when it comes to his own primary assignments, don't be telling him what to do. and all of the other sporting director who might believe that they know so much, they need to be, let everybody take charge of their job. Let the coach be in charge of his coaching. Let him be in charge of his player. Let the director of transfer be in charge of transfer. Let the technical director be in charge of the technical thing. Let the sporting director be in charge of the operation of the club. And don't let somebody who is maybe just feels like he has power in the club start interfering in who should play and who should not play. So I think all of these things should be in consideration if we want to get things right in this club and when we are looking at the manager that we want to bring into this club. So guys, thank you very much. These are my thoughts about Chelsea in bringing in a new manager into this club. What are your thoughts? What are the things that you think we should do, we should be considering in bringing a manager into this club? Put it in the comment section. Let's discuss about it, and please like, share and subscribe to this channel if you have not done that. Till we see you some other time. Namaste.